working with you on some cursive handwriting. So on day one of our cursive handwriting lesson, the first thing I want to talk to you about are just some tips to help you with your cursive handwriting. One thing is how you hold your pencil. When you're holding your pencil, you just need to have your pointer finger on top, down close to the point of your pencil. You should be leaning on your middle finger, leaning the pencil on your middle finger with your thumb over here on the side. So you're basically using 3 fingers. And then your pencil lays back here on the back of your hand. If you'll hold your pencil that way, your hand won't start to hurt whenever you write. You know how sometimes when you're writing, your hand starts to hurt and you all will do like this and shake your hand. It's because you're holding your pencil the wrong way. So think about holding your pencil the right way and turning your paper the right way. If you notice that my paper is kind of turned at an angle, so turn your paper at an angle. Don't try to write in cursive with the paper straight up and down. It won't look very good if you do. So on day one, the first thing we're going to talk about is slant. When you write in cursive, you have to slant your letters. When we print, we write our letters straight up and down. I'm going to use a marker so it shows up darker for you to see it. When we write in print, our letters go straight up and down. When we write in cursive, our letters need to slant. So when I talk about slant, think about coming down from the top of the line at a slant. That's a slanted line instead of a straight line. Straight line looks like that. So we want to make sure our letters are slanted when we write in cursive. Now you can print off some paper like I have here. You can just go online and type in printable handwriting paper. But if you don't have any handwriting paper like this, you can certainly use notebook paper also and just kind of write a little bit bigger. We'll work towards writing on notebook paper later. It's just helpful to learn with this dotted line in the middle because there's so many of the letters that just come up to the dotted line. So if you have some handwriting paper like this, what I'd like for you to do on your first line is just practice making some slanted lines. Start at the top and go down to the bottom and stop. The top line, down to the bottom and stop. And then look at your lines and make sure they're slanted. Another thing, when we write on handwriting paper like this, I'll talk a lot about the top line, the dotted line, and the bottom line, and then there's this space below the bottom line. So if you think of it as kind of like a house, you've got the downstairs, you've got the upstairs, and then this is the basement. So some of the letters that we'll make will go into the basement. Some will just be in the downstairs, some will be in the downstairs and the upstairs, but we never go up here into the attic. So we've got the upstairs, the downstairs, and the basement. Today, the 3 letters that we're going to write on day one are I, U, and T. All of those will stay either in the downstairs or the upstairs. So we've talked about slant. We've talked about turning your paper the right way and how to hold your pencil correctly. So I'm going to hold my marker the same way, and I'm going to show you how to make a cursive I. Now this is a lowercase I. We're only going to be working on lowercase letters to start off with. So you'll start at the bottom line where I put a dot just right there. You'll start there, and you're going to curve up and touch the dotted line, just like that. Now, in cursive handwriting, you don't pick up your pencil. So I'm picking it up to show you some examples, but you will not pick up your pencil. So you curve up and touch the dotted line, and then you're going to trace that line back down and put on a tail that comes up and touches the dotted line. And when you're finished, you're going to think, well, that doesn't really look like an I, but it will whenever you put the dot on top. So try not to, when you make a dot, don't make it big and huge like this. Don't make it a heart like this. Now, if you're writing a note to your friends, that's cute. But when you're writing stuff for school, you don't want to do that. So you start at the bottom line. You curve up and touch the dotted line. You trace that back down. Touch the dotted line again. And then you pick up your pencil. And then you put your dot. So that's how you make a lowercase I. So you can stop the video right now and practice making a line of lowercase i's. So just pause the video and practice making a line of lowercase i's. When you finish that line, start the video back and I'll show you how to make a lowercase u. Okay, let's look at lowercase u. You start the exact same way that you did to start the lowercase I. You're going to start at the bottom. You're going to curve up. You're going to touch the dotted line, just like you did for the I. You're going to come down and you're going to come back up and touch the dotted line, just like you did for the I. But then you're going to trace that back down and put a tail on it. This right here will become the beginning of your next letter whenever you start learning how to join letters together and write words. So this is what a lowercase u looks like. Now some of you might be saying, well, that looks just like a W. Well, it does, but a W has one little thing different about it that we'll talk about later. So a U, you're going to start at the bottom line, you're going to curve up, touch the dotted line, trace that line back down, touch the dotted line again, trace that line back down, and touch the dotted line again. And that's a lowercase u. So you can pause this video in just a moment and practice making lowercase u's. You start here, up, down, up, down, up. So pause this video and make a line of lowercase u. And whenever you unpause it, we'll talk about how to make the lowercase t. All right, lowercase t is very similar to making your lowercase I, except this time we're actually going to go up into the upstairs. So we're going to start at the bottom line. We're going to go all the way up to the top this time. Then we're going to trace that line back down and put a tail on. The tail comes up and touches the dotted line. So it's the exact same shape as the I, just taller. So instead of dotting it, we're going to cross it just a little bit above the dotted line. And that's your lowercase t. So you start at the bottom, you curve all the way up, trace that line down, put on the tail, pick up your pencil, and then cross just above the dotted line. So when you're ready, pause this video and make a line of lowercase t. Now we're going to practice one word. One word today that we can write with I and T is going to be the word it. Now when you write in cursive, again, you join things together and you don't pick up your pencil. So in print, the word it looks just like that. In cursive, you're going to make your I. Now this tail of the I is going to become the beginning of your T. So that tail, instead of stopping at the dotted line, is going to go on up and touch the top line. Then you're going to trace that back down and put on a tail. You dot your I and cross your T when you're completely finished with your word. So after you've done that, you come back and you dot and you cross. And there you have the word it. I, T. Okay? So practice writing a line of the word it. And that is day one. You've learned how to make a cursive lowercase I, a lowercase u, and a lowercase t. We'll work on some more letters tomorrow.
You done?